Brian. We're going to start the session off with saying congratulations on getting out of the juvenile facility. Are you excited?
Yes, and worried.
What are you worried about?
Well, I'm going back to my family, but the neighborhood that my family lives in isn't the greatest.
What are you worried about in this neighborhood?
Well, though, still a lot of gangs there, and they're recruiting. They want me to join. And there's the drugs on the street, and there's a lot of prostitutes around as well, and just people that are up to no good.
Okay. And what are you worried about particularly with the gangs?
Well, the gangs are looking to recruit, and I know it all sounds good to join, but I've known so many friends and people that are from the block that are older that didn't survive it. They got killed running with the gangs. I don't want that. I want a new start on life.
Okay, so you want a new start. So do you want to talk about some of the solutions for when you go back home?
Yeah.
Okay. For these solutions, do we want to talk about the gangs? Do we want to talk about the drugs? Like, what do you think is going to be the hardest part of going back home?
Hard part I think at first is to get back to school.
Okay.
I think we need to go. Everybody says that I should really go to school, and I agree. And I need to get my GED or something like that and move on. Maybe I can go to a trade school, but I also need money.
Okay. So what are the advantages of school?
Well, school, has you get to learn things and get better, so you're not just relying on the gangs.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you do better, you get to go to college or at least, try to learn a trade like a mechanic or a welder or something like that,
Okay. And what do you think some of the disadvantages of going to school would be?
I'm sorry, the advantage or disadvantage?
Disadvantage.
Well, the disadvantage is that I'm not really that smart.
Okay.
And I'm afraid if I fail out and, how long will I really be there for? And if I'm not doing good grades, then how do I get a job, learning to become a mechanic or a welder or a plumber?
So you think that you're not smart enough to go to school?
That's one of the problems.
Do you think maybe you could work really hard and do well?
Well, I hope so. But it's the distractions, You go home after school, everybody's out on the street, there's music playing. Some of the guys, they're out there, they're only 16 or 15, but, they're drinking, having 40s, and they're smoking pot, and doing other drugs.
How do you think we could avoid being in that kind of situation?
Well, if I could only get out of there, I don't want to, be in that neighborhood, but, it's tough.
So leaving, you think, is a solution?
Yeah.
So what are some of the advantages of leaving?
Well, you get to go somewhere else and start anew. Nobody really knows you.
Okay. What else is an advantage?
Well, there's less distractions from the street.
Okay. But what are some of the disadvantages now?
Well, now you don't really know anybody.
Okay.
And most of my family is from, my aunts and uncles and, cousins are all in the neighborhood, not too far away.
Do you think your cousins and your family could help you stay out of trouble?
Well, I don't know. Maybe some, but, I got a cousin who's running with the gangs.
Okay. So your cousin that runs with the gang, I guess we could call him a disadvantage with living with your family.
Yeah.
Are there anyone that you think will help keep you on the straight and narrow?
Well, my mother and my grandmother.
Okay, so they're positive.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do we have any money in order to, leave?
Well, that's the other thing. We don't really have that much money.
Okay.
We're in Section 8, welfare and food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get the money to leave the area if we don't have it?
Okay, so maybe right now a solution isn't to leave the area. We don't exactly have the means to.
Okay.
Do you agree, or do you think that you have the means to leave this
No, I
area?
don't think I have the means at this time.
Okay, so let's talk about more solutions for staying in this area. So now we're going to stay in this area, so we're going to take leave as off the table as a solution to not getting into trouble while we're home. Okay.
Okay.
So we can lean on our mother and our grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think school would work?
Well, maybe I can get involved with some after-school stuff or whatever.
Okay. And that would help.
Yeah, I wouldn't be out there, at home. Everybody's out there running around. People coming looking for me.
Okay. So maybe we could do some homework clubs, things where we get our homework done, or maybe we can look into some clubs if you want to do some trade school.
Okay.
So that's a solution. So there seems like there's some advantages and disadvantages of all of them, correct?
Yeah.
What do you think would be a good solution to get a fresh start?
Well, one of the things is, to stay in. But maybe I could get a job somewhere. But, and I got my school pass for the bus. So maybe I can get and then just come back and forth between the subway and the bus, back and forth. And hopefully I can stay away from the guys out on the street.
What are some advantages of a job like that?
Well, this way money's coming in.
True, always helpful.
And, it helps pay for the bills. And then maybe if we save a little bit, we could leave the area.
Okay. What other, do you think a job would help give you new skills, would help you?
If I could get a job, maybe working at a gas station or in a shop, maybe they'll help me a little bit towards, learning a trade like that.
Are you interested in going maybe trade school then?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I would really like to be a mechanic. I like cars.
Okay. So a mechanic could be a good thing because we could look into going into a trade school for mechanic, to be a mechanic, and you could get a job at a gas station, which would also help with the mechanic schooling, and it would also keep you off the street and keep you away. Do you think you could still live with your mother or your grandmother?
Well, I'd like to. They help me a lot through things, and they help me get out of this as well. Keep me strong and positive so I can leave this detention facility and get back home. Okay.
Have you talked to them about what's going to come when you leave? Are you going to definitely live with them?
Yeah, they said there were going to be more rules about me going out.
Okay, so do you think you can lean on them as a support system to stay off the streets?
Well, I hope so. But when the guys come and they make fun of you, make you feel bad. Call you names. You're a puss and stuff like that. So you end up going out. It's tough.
How do you think we could possibly handle that situation so that you don't go out and you don't?
Well, I got to be tougher to them and say no. I don't want to go back to jail.
Okay. That's an option. How are we going to handle your cousin that runs with gangs?
Oh, I can't. I want to stay away from him, but it's tough. His family comes over all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't listen to my mom and grandma.
Okay.
And, I don't know if I could keep him away from me.
Have they tried to keep him away from you?
Yeah, they tell him he shouldn't come over, but again, it's his grandma too.
Mm-hmm.
And grandma really loves him too and hopes she can help him get away from the gangs.
Maybe you can still be around him, but realize that you don't want to fall into the same path as him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about our final solution. So we're going to live with our mother and our grandmother. We're going to lean on them to be a great support system as you transition from the detention facility to the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to stay off the streets by going to a trade school or a GED program or some sort of schooling in order to advance in the future. And maybe a job, like something like a gas station. If you want to be a mechanic, a great option would be a gas station. You're around mechanics all the time. Good way to bring money. Also a good way to get you off the streets.
Mm-hmm.
For now, we're going to take leaving off the table because we don't have the means. Unfortunately, maybe in the future, you'll be able to leave this area. How does that all sound?
That sounds good.
Okay. I'll see you in your next session right before you go home. Good luck.
Thank you.